We're now going to learn how to style our pivot tables with the style accessor. This is another accessor available to you just like str, dt, and cat accessors. This one is available just for the data frame. So it's a little bit different than these ones over here, which are series accessors. And it allows us to style our data frames by changing the text color, background color, font, and many other different things that are associated with the style or format of the data frame itself. So you can style any data frame. It doesn't have to be the result of a pivot table. It's just that pivot tables are often good choices to add style to. So there's a whole section in the documentation that covers how to style your data frame. And you can see here, this is actually a data frame that has been styled, so it can look significantly different than the original. And if you just scroll down, you'll see all the different available things you can do in order to style your data frames. All right, let's go back over here. And we're going to create a data frame from a pivot table. So we're going to group by department and race. And we're going to take the mean of the salary. We're then going to round to the nearest thousand and then convert all of these numbers to integers instead of what they were as floats. This just gets rid of the 0.0 in the display over here. So this is a data frame, and the way to get this style accessor is just to put dot style and then press dot and then press tab, and you will have all of your attributes and methods appear. So just like the other accessors, it gives you style only attributes and methods. You can't access them directly from the data frame. You have to access them from this style accessor. So one thing you might want to do in a data analysis is to highlight the maximum value, and this will go through by column. So in every race, you can see the maximum department's average. So where is that maximum? Which department has the maximum for that particular race? So if I do highlight max, so this is again, these are average salaries, but we're finding the maximum per column. So just like other pandas methods work column-wise by default, so do the style methods. As you can see here, the other department has the highest average salary over here for Asians. For these three races, it's police. So pretty cool. You can just highlight the maximum. You can change the direction by setting access equal to 1. So what this will do is for every department, so every row, it'll find the race with the maximum average salary. So for the fire department, that is Asian. For health and human services, it is white, and so forth. So that's another thing you can do. You can even just highlight the very single maximum by setting access equal to none. So this just finds the one over here that is the maximum of the entire table. Of course, you press Shift Tab Tab, and you can get the documentation to pull up like that. Another interesting one to know about is the background gradient one. So if you execute this, this will style it, it'll color it based on the numbers themselves. You can actually change the color map. You have to use matplotlib colors over here, and it'll go through different ones that you can set. So different diverging color maps. Anyways, the way you do it is you just pick a color map. We can just choose maybe oranges over here. Press Shift Tab Tab, and you say C map. This is actually the first parameter, equals that color map, and it will display it in that color map. So the color on the left hand side will be the lowest number over here, so right around 40, or actually 35,000, 31,000. And then the highest will actually goes by, so if you'll notice, it actually goes by column. So you have to set access over here to none if you wanted to operate on the whole entire data frame, I believe. That did not work. So yeah, you can change the color mapping to go, by default it is column-wise with access equals 0, but you can change it to row-wise by changing it to access equals 1. or do the yeah, so the entire data frame is by doing access equals none. So that was correct, just double checking the documentation. All right, so that's just another one. You can add commas to your number. So notice here it is, if you have larger numbers, it's a little bit harder to read. So what we can do here is use the format method, and you have to know the formatting rules for Python. So the way you do this is you put it in curly braces, and you put a colon here inside of these curly braces, and then you just have to know the formatting rules. So you have to look those up if you don't know them. And the way you can actually just add commas just like that. But there's a lot more rules. So if there's decimals, you can put dot to after something like this to show 2 decimal places. We don't have that over here. So there's quite a few formatting rules, but commas are probably one of the most common ones you want to add to your data, especially this one right here. All right, now you can actually do multiple styles. So the way this works actually, so you could, let me just return this object over here. I'll just call it ob. So it looks like you think like this is a data frame, but this is not a data frame. This is a styler object. You cannot do any data analysis on here. So you cannot select, say, a column over here. It just does not work. So once you've added style, you no longer have a data frame. You have a different type of object that is this styler object. It's just for presentation purposes only. So you only add style at the end of your data analysis when you're done doing any sort of manipulation of the data, or else you just can't use it for data analysis purposes. All right, so just to show you some chaining style methods, so we can keep going. We can highlight the max value like this, and we can also highlight the min value like this, and we can just use a different color like this. So you can change the color attribute. So you'll have to read the documentation to figure out a little more about how to use these, but this is just to get you going. So hopefully just showing you this piece over here will help you figure out how to use it, and then you can go through the official documentation to see many more examples over here on how to style your data, add color to text, and so forth. So one thing to notice is when you chain these methods, you no longer have to do dot style again. It's not saying you don't have to do dot style, dot highlight max, then dot style, dot highlight min. You just go straight to highlight max and straight to highlight min after the first one. So once you've converted it, once you've run that first style accessor method, you now have this styler object, which you can directly access those methods like this. Okay, so a pretty cool thing to do. Very important to add style, I'd say, when you're presenting to, pinpoint or showcase some data, highlight some data, just make it look a lot nicer for presentation purposes. So that is the style accessor for data frames.